So, I'm back. Mr. Trencher last week stole the show with his simple steak for two. Tonight, I'm back, rivaling him with an evening episode. So, let's get straight into the ingredients. We've got a St. Joseph's College favourite, chicken. I'm using chicken breast, but you can, if you want to, you can use chicken thigh, you can use chicken wing, you can use chicken drumstick, you can use a whole chicken, you can use whatever for this recipe. We've also got in season, of course, some beautiful green asparagus here. I don't think you can get any other colours, but asparagus, lovely, lovely vegetable. This, and finally, some potatoes. Okay, again, you can go for a big old potato and chop it up small for this. You can go for different kind of potato, Maris Piper, King Edward. I've gone for a new variety myself, a little bit smaller, quicker to cook, and perfect for this recipe. This is, okay, easy chicken dinner for two. What's really key with this recipe is timing. Now, because it's a really simple dinner, okay, we're just going to use one pan, 3 ingredients, okay, and it's just super easy, but they all cook at slightly different times. So, the potatoes are going to take a little bit longer than the chicken, and the chicken a tiny little bit longer, only a tiny bit, than the asparagus. Okay, if you're using something else, like broccoli, for example, or cauliflower, or aubergine, or onion, or tomato, okay, then, you know, cooking times there might be slightly different as well. But what we want to do is get the potatoes in first. So I've washed these already and given them a scrub. I've already put the oven to 200 degrees Celsius, 200, so that's been heating up for a little while. It just means that we're not faffing around, okay, with our cooking. So, going to cut these up to come in a bit closer. So all I'm going to do, taking care, because it's a sharp knife, I'm going to cut them into as small bits as possible. Okay, so into as small bits as possible, and I'm just going to chuck them straight into there, into my pan. Now notice, I've got this little non-stick bit on the bottom. That will stop your mum or dad complaining at you when it gets to the washing up bit. They'll be like, oh, why have you got the potatoes and the chicken stuck to the pan? It just takes so long. That is why, gents, we use non-stick. Might be a little bit more in the shop, but it's 100% worth it. Okay, notice I'm chopping these up, sometimes not even looking at the potato. That's the level of chef I am. However, when you've got a knife in your hand, you always take care. Okay, so if you've got a bigger potato, you can, if you want to, just chuck it in whole. The thing is then, it just takes a lot longer. So you need to know your potatoes and know what you're cooking with. I reckon for two, that, maybe, should we do one more? We'll do one more just in case. Feeling a bit peckish today, so chucking in another one. That's probably it. Coming a bit closer. So we're going to spread them out so they cook a little bit faster in the oven. We're just going to give them a little bit of olive oil. Okay, you can use rapeseed oil if you want. You can use vegetable oil, sunflower oil, just a tiny little drizzle there. And I'm just going to put a tiny, just to get it going, tiny little bit of salt and pepper. All the other spices. Oh my word, okay, that's probably enough salt in there. Just going to give it a little jiggle around there, and we're going to get them in the oven for 20 minutes at 200. Okay, so just be careful if it's hot. Chuck them in the top there, and we are off. Oh, didn't see you there. So, our potatoes are cooking away. Okay, we've got about 13 minutes till we're going to add the chicken and the asparagus. But while we do that, okay, we want to make our little kind of flavour explosion ready to go, so that we can just chuck it on our potatoes, our chicken, our asparagus, get it in the oven, and then it's going to come out tasting pucker. Okay, so I've pulled out these from the cupboard. All right, now go into your parents' spice rack. I'm sure they won't mind. And just have a look online and just see what spices work together. Okay, I've gone with a kind of like Mexican flavour today, similar to what Mr. Trench did last week, but I'm raising it up a little bit because I'm competitive. So the first thing we're going to use is the classic paprika, okay, little Spanish flavour in there, and I'm just going to use So I'm going to make up the spice mix. I'm going to use roughly, you see I'm being quite rough about this, using my left hand, not very good at my left hand, roughly about a teaspoon in there, okay? So I'll just put that to the side. Then I'm going to go over to Latin America. I'm going to use a bit of cumin, okay? And I'm going to just put this on here. It's going to be a teaspoon again, and just dunk it in there. The reason why I'm doing this is that so they can all combine. So you're not getting a hit of like oregano one moment and then a hit of paprika. You're getting a constant flavour burst the whole time. Okay, and then I'm going with a little bit of chili powder. Now, you feel free to add this or if you want or not. You know, I've got a brother that isn't very good with heat, so I wouldn't add this for him. I've got a sister who really enjoys chili, so I would add that for her. Okay, then I'm going to go in with a little bit of oregano, just to add a bit of something slightly different to the mix. Okay, so we're just going to go in there and drizzle that over the top. So we've got 4 spices there. Going to crunch in a little bit of pepper, and a tiny, because I added a bit to the potatoes, a tiny bit of salt. Then we're just going to come in a bit closer, mix it all up like so. Now it looks a bit rogue, however, that will, now that's all combined, that is ready, a little spice mix to chuck straight over our chicken, potatoes and asparagus in around about 11 minutes and 30 seconds, okay? So, I'll see you then. Potatoes are done. So, we use these things to take these out. So just be careful because they're probably going to be a bit hot. Okay, lovely. Right, looking at that. Okay, so we can see that our potatoes, coming a bit closer, are starting to crisp up a little bit. So that's exactly what we want. What we're going to do, we're going to move them over to one side, and we're going to just bring the pan over here now to our preparation station. Okay, we're going to keep the temperature of the oven, and now we're ready to go for our next stage. Add the chicken just right into the middle. You literally just slide it in there. It's as easy as that, easy as that. But the thing is now with the asparagus, okay, make sure with the chicken as well, I've just handled chicken, that I wash my hands, okay? So I'm just gonna quickly wash my hands so I'm not cross-contaminating. And fully dry them off, okay? Just dry them off here. I've just gone to dry them off. Okay, so we've got our asparagus now. Okay, and we want to add these into this little compartment here. It's just screaming out for a little bit of green asparagus. But we've got this bit on the bottom which isn't so good, okay? It's sprouted up from the ground. It's not so good, but the top bit, that's the good stuff. So what we're going to do, we're just going to take it about here and you're just going to snap. And where it snaps, that's where it's ready to take off. So we've got the good stuff there and we've got the not so good stuff there. Once it's snapped, you're literally just going to add it into there. It should make a lovely little clicking sound. That's a sound that you want to hear. If it's kind of not clicking and it's just gone a bit soft, then the asparagus probably isn't where you want it. But the perfect thing about this recipe is that it's not perfect, similar to my other ones. So it's okay. As you say, you can use broccoli, you can use other vegetables for this, that's absolutely fine. 1 pan chicken. Voila. So, it's all in the 1 pan. Now this stuff, you don't necessarily need to throw away. There's a great recipe online. Okay, Jamie Oliver asparagus soup is fantastic and it's delicious. Well, I've had that before. Okay, so we're going to squeeze it in there and we've got our spice mix that we prepared earlier. So, all you're going to do here is you're going to get it to the edge, mostly over the chicken, I think, but you're just going to slowly drizzle it. Or shake it, I suppose, not drizzle really. Shake it over our vegetables and our chicken and our potatoes and our asparagus. Now that looks like quite a lot, but remember, it's only on the one side. Okay, if you flipped it over onto the other side, okay, then that has none. And all you're going to do, you're just going to drizzle a little bit of olive oil over the top. Now you might think, oh, Mr. Rimmer, you should probably mix that all in so that one side is covered with spices, the other side. I actually quite like it like this. Now it's up to you how you do it, but you'll see for presentation that this I think works, okay? So, still quite hot, the pan at the moment. We're going to take our safety mittens, we're going to open up the oven, and we're going to add it to the top. And now, at 200, okay, this is going to take between 20 and 25 minutes, then we're done. Okay? See you in a bit. I think we're cooking. So, here we go. Get our little mittens on again. Out the oven goes, it's probably quite hot. It's probably time to turn it off. But if you're not as confident as me, keep it on, and it might be that you can stick it in a bit more. Now, to check that your chicken is cooked, come in a little bit closer, you can see that it looks done. But to check it's really cooked, you can always stick a knife in, or if you have one of those fancy temperature things, stick one of those in, and it comes up to the temperature that chicken's meant to be cooked at. But, from looking at it and experience, I think it's done. Okay, I think it's done, but you can always stick it back in if it isn't. Okay, so, we place it down there. Now this is really simple. I should have 2 plates if I'm doing it for 2, just like Mr. Trencher last week. But I'm just going to do 1 plate. You know, you can do it as fancy or as non-fancy as you want. But I'm going to do it fancy today. Okay, so we get our potatoes and we're just going to kind of put them into the middle here. Add a few more. So this is really nutritious. So you can use this definitely as a lunch as well. And we're going to get our asparagus and we're just going to lay it over the top like so. Okay, we want it to be presented perfectly because we eat with our eyes as well. So we're just going to do 3 there. Then we're going to get our smaller, in fact no, we get our bigger chicken breast, and we're just going to lay it over the top like so. And I've got here, right, you can get this from any shop, it's really nice, really sweet, it goes really nicely with this, a little balsamic drizzle, okay, and it's a balsamic glaze, and all I'm going to do here is I'm going to just glaze it over the top, like so. And then what we're going to do, we're just going to give it a little bit of a dressing with oil over the top, and we are done. That is my simple 1-pan chicken with new potatoes and asparagus. Have a great, great, great day, evening and week, and I'll see you next week. Thanks a lot.